So this has absolutely nothing to do with today's video, but I thought every time, I paint my nails, which is not very often, I would mark the occasion in one of my YouTube videos. So I'm wearing this nice pretty blue. I feel like it's also from the Barbie line. I forget what the name of the nail polish is, but it's pretty, right? Anyway, nothing to do with today's video, but it's more of a memory for me. Anyway, moving on to hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jody, and on my channel I talk about Broadway and books. And in today's video, I will be giving a spoiler-free review on the latest book that I've read. So first I'll talk a bit, what the book is about, some general information on the book, my thoughts, and my star rating. So without any further ado, let's get on to today's spoiler-free book review. And that would be for the book A Stranger in the House by Shari Lapena. So A Stranger in the House is about a happily married couple named Tom and Karen. They've been married for about 2 years, and they live a very quiet and simple life in a suburb of New York. Their quiet, simple, happy life, though, gets turned upside down when one day Karen gets involved in a pretty severe car accident. She survives the accident, but in the process of doing so, she loses all her memory on why she left the house that day and what she was doing leading up to the accident. So that's basically the gist of the premise for what A Stranger in the House is about, and really after the last thing I mentioned is where the story begins to pick up, and because I'm making this spoiler free, I'll just leave the overview there. So as far as the general information on the book goes, the genre is fiction/mystery thriller, the map page is a 305 in paperback, the timeline is the present day, and the point of view is we get to hear from multiple points of view in the story. So as far as my thoughts on this book go, I went on a bit of a journey, honestly, with my thoughts and feelings on this book the more and more I read of it. I went from thinking it was just fine and okay to really quite liking it, and I'll tell you how that turnaround came to be in a minute. So I'll first start off with the not so positive things I have to say about this book, and then I'll get to the positive things. So as far as the not so positive things I have to say about this book, when going into reading a really good, great mystery thriller, I expect certain things, as I'm sure most would expect certain things when reading this genre. That being, I would expect crazy twists, turns, and reveals, the high intensity and unpredictability factor within the story where you really can't tell where the story is going to go or exactly how it's going to end. And this book basically had none of those things. The twists, turns, and reveals were more or less predictable. And as far as the ending goes, despite not being able to exactly predict how the story was going to end, I did find myself very underwhelmed by the ending. Not very shocked, and it wasn't like I was like, oh my gosh, what? It was more like, okay. And when reading a mystery thriller, you're expecting to be surprised with every turn of the page, be on the edge of your seat, and this book unfortunately fell flat in all those categories. So as far as the positive things I have to say about this book, and there are a few, the first being that this is the first book by Shari Lapena that I've read, and after reading one of her books, I can totally see now why so many are such a fan of her books. She's just a really great writer. Her writing in this book in particular was very sharp, and despite not being overly surprised about how the story played out, I still really wanted to know where the story was going to go and exactly how it was going to end, and that was thanks in a large part to her writing. It was just really good. Another thing I really liked about this book were the chapters were really short, and because of that, this book was a very easy book to read and get through. And the last thing I really enjoyed about this book was it read like a Lifetime movie. And this was actually the thing in particular that really helped, me turn around my feelings on just thinking this book was okay to really quite liking it. After reading this book after some time, the story started to feel more and more to me like a Lifetime movie. It had all the elements that you would expect to find in a Lifetime movie. It's dramatic, it's over the top, it's campy, and it's cheesy. And this book had all those elements, and it wasn't until I was able to look at the book as though it was a Lifetime movie, because, like I said, it was written very much like one, that I was finally able to embrace its ridiculousness, not take it so seriously, get much more into the story, and just enjoy it so much more. So those are my thoughts. As far as my star rating goes, I gave this 4 stars. Like I said, I really ended up quite liking this book, and I really had a great time reading it at the end of the day. Now, as far as is this a book I would recommend to anyone, I would say if you're someone who really appreciates and likes a good Lifetime movie, you would probably love this book. But if you're someone that expects in your mystery thrillers, a more serious tone and, twists, turns, and reveals that aren't predictable, I would say, probably just skip this one. But at the end of the day, if the story sounds interesting to you, I still encourage you to check it out and read it because it could be a 5-star read for you. So that's going to be it today for my spoiler-free review on A Stranger in the House by Shari Lapena. And I just want to say thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, bye!